Questions, questions, questions. It can only mean one thing. Ask EMBN.
Okay, so let's kick things off. We've got a really good question here from Joseph Renneck. He's got, hi guys. There's been no convincing me that e-bikes are the future of mountain biking. I understand every aspect of them and currently save my pennies to buy my first e-bike. Currently on a 150mm Santa Cruz Bronson and ride every week with a group of lads. However, they're all against e-bikes. I explain all the advantages of an e-bike, but they still won't accept them. I'm the youngest in the group, being 32, yet I'm the only one wanting one. So basically, when I first get my e-bike, how will my weekend rides go with the boys? I can take the banter, but I'm afraid I'll be steaming ahead on my own and wanting more from my ride when we get back to the car park because the lads are knackered. Advice would be great. Cheers for all the videos.
Whoa, that's a brilliant question. And I think it echoes the thoughts of a lot of people all over the world. Is what's going to be how's it going to work itself out when you're riding with your mates? And I think the key thing, Joseph, is that different rider weights, different fitness levels, different tyre choices all have an impact. But I think what you'll find you'll do, you'll still be riding with your mates, but you'll probably be riding in eco mode. You might be riding with the motor off. It all depends, and you could go for an e-bike ride with 3 different levels of fitness. So you'd have someone who's, say, 60 kilos might be riding eco mode, someone who's 80 kilos would be riding trail mode, and maybe someone who's older, who less fit, could be riding turbo mode. So there's always that give and take, really. But I think something, I can see that your mates have got some worries, and I think a really telling point was recently on a really well-known mountain bike website when the Norco site was launched. Historically on this website there's been a lot of e-bike hate, which it's been there, but a really telling part was there seems to be less and less anti-e-bike hate on this site. And there's a good comment, and the comment said the 7th stage of grief is acceptance, and I think we have got now to a stage on e-bikes where there is acceptance. Because you go to Italy and you go to France, and they are developed e-bike countries, and people look upon people riding e-bikes with a bit of envy, really. However, in like America or maybe in the UK, they are less developed e-bike countries, so it's still waiting to catch up, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think a good idea would be to treat your mates all to like a demo day, get them all out there and try an e-bike. You can wear disguises, it don't have to be them if they're that embarrassed to ride one, but get them all to a demo day, try an e-bike.
And they'll be hooked.
And they'll be hooked. You'll all be buying one, or just make that change and you can join them, show them how capable they are, go flying off in the distance and be waiting. Or
Joseph, I think the key thing is don't feel the peer pressure. Don't let peer pressure prevent you from getting an e-bike, because they're such good fun.
Definitely.
You can still have such a great workout on them, and you can just do more runs. And honestly, those mates of yours, I guarantee you
to ride on.
And within a few years, you'll all be riding e-bikes. It's as simple as that. It's inevitable. Axis Lud asks, hey guys, I need to know how to install a dropper seat post with internal routing on my flatmate's e-bike, the Cube Stereo Hybrid. The motor is a Bosch Performance CX. Looks like we have to remove the motor and place the cables correctly inside the frame. We would really appreciate your help on this.
Yeah, so we don't actually know the bike personally, and there's a few different models available, the Cube Stereo. But I think if it's a motor out job, it's not a massive job. I've done it myself. I think you have. If you're fairly confident at home, you can remove that motor fairly easy.
10 minutes? Yeah. 10-minute job?
If not, take it down to your local bike shop. They should be fairly competent about removing that motor if needed. But of course, there's lots of different options out there. We've got wireless ones from Magura. So you've got just a sender and a receiver unit on the seat post. So actually no cables on the bike at all. Or obviously you can get the under the seat post mounted dropper lever. It really depends on what style of riding you're doing. I think
there's cable operated, hydraulic operated.
Lots of different options out there, but yeah.
But to take, just to give you some info, to take a Bosch motor out, it's a very simple job. Don't forget to disconnect your battery before you do that, so there's no engagement of the rear wheel or the cranks. Literally, I think is 3 bolts. Don't forget, when you take the motor out, to take a photograph exactly where the cables are located. So when it comes to put it back with the dropper cable, you know exactly where everything is.
Yeah, and just remember when you're doing that dropper cable as well, just try and not have any sort of tight kinks in that in the cable. Just keep a nice smooth cable routing if it is a cable operated one.
Easy job.
So you got this question in from Bugboy1520023. Currently a regular mountain bike rider, you've sold me on the concept of miles and training benefits of e-bikes. Can you do some more spotlights on how these bikes handle going downhill compared to regular bikes? Is it difficult to get the extra weight around? Will a smaller, lighter struggle to corner exactly? Thank you for the show and all you do.
Great question, Bugboy. Yes, they are different. Obviously, you're talking about a weight of 19 to 24 kilos on an e-bike compared to, a lot less on a non-e-bike. So the main thing is the momentum you carry on an e-bike, especially going into corners. You need to brake slightly earlier on an e-bike compared to a non-e-bike. But the grip involved on an e-bike and the stability on an e-bike is absolutely incredible. Now, I did a back-to-back test on one of the world's famous testing tracks down in Italy on a Canyon Sender versus a high bike X-Zero 180mm travel. And the crazy thing is that when I did this back-to-back test, I was convinced that the downhill bike would be 5 to 8 seconds quicker than the e-bike. However, my e-bike, and I have to tell you, the suspension wasn't set up particularly well. The bike was a bit too small for me, and it actually beat the downhill bike by 5 seconds. And when you're asking what it feels like, you'll feel that the exit speed of corners on a non-e-bike is so much quicker than an e-bike, but the times actually say otherwise.
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
But I think also you might get more arm fatigue on a non-e-bike compared to an e-bike. So because there's a lot less weight transfer going on an e-bike. Obviously, this all depends. This assumes your bike is the right size and suspension setup and all stuff like that. But yeah, check out the video which we did in Italy. Jamie Gibbon feels like he's ready to commit to buying an e-bike. Yeah. Good effort, Jamie. Currently have a 2008 Stumpjammer Expert. Recently been noticing a number of e-bikes with belt drives and pinion-style enclosed gearboxes instead of chains and cassettes. Is this the next evolution of e-mountain bikes? And if so, should I be holding off until this technology matures? Are belt drive pinions going to be more of the preserve of road commuter bikes, upside down? I think you should get on with it.
Definitely. I think that technology is changing so fast these days. I think you just need to get on board, get started with that e-bike thing, get the bug going. So say every day we're seeing, stuff changing all the time. But
I think to answer the question on belt drives, I think belt drives are more susceptible to weather, rocks, mud than a chain is. I recently spoke to an engineer who lives close by, and he has used belt drives. And obviously, I think Nikolai have got a belt drive bike, but I think in extreme conditions or off-road conditions in the northern hemisphere, I think you're probably better off with a chain drive. I think maybe what you're talking about belt drives means that, like for example, inside a Bros motor is belt drive, so you need to be clear here whether we're talking inside a motor or outside the motor. So obviously, like an e-bike motor is hermetically sealed, and it's good for, I think some motors are good for like 20 to 30,000 miles before you dismantle them or service them. So that's an insane amount of miles. I can't imagine doing that, can you?
And I think obviously there's a reason why some motorcycles, especially off-road stuff, are stuck to that chain drive, so tried and tested stuff. I think we will see advance with the gearbox side of it, but I think that chain will always be connected by the rear will always be powered by a chain, be it single speed with an enclosed gearbox. But
Jamie, go for it. Now's the time.
Just get on board.
Go and do it.
You'll miss that training, you'll be regretting it.
Just go and do it.
Okay, we've had this one in from Michael Towler. I have a Rocky Mountain power plate. I'm getting heaps of shuddering from the front of the bike. It only seems to happen on one downhill track in particular. It's got back and forth across a ridge called Rock and Roll. The faster I go, the worse it is. It seems to occur as I swoop down and brake in as I go into an uphill, down or corner of berm. What do you reckon, Steve?
Well, like you say, there is you check your disc bolts, check whether your headset's tight. It could actually be something from the rear. It could be like your rear axle's loose. I mean, because sometimes the sound and vibration does get transferred from the back to the front, and other times it gets transferred from the front to the back. So it's really difficult to answer that question. It sounds to me like there's something loose on the bike. Could be your motor, the bolts of the motor are loose. It could be your shock absorber bolts are loose.
Yeah.
I don't know. Without seeing the bike, it's almost impossible to answer that question.
Yeah. I'd get that bike on the ground, give it a bit of a drop test, see if you can hear anything like super loose, anything like that. Rock it back and forward on the brakes, bounce it on the back wheel. Noises tend to occur when that stuff's loose.
My question to you, Michael, and maybe get back to us, is are we talking when the motor is engaged or simply when you're freewheeling down the track? So get back to us on that, and you need to isolate whether it's a motor related issue or a chassis related issue before we can start to tackle it. The e-bike campervan man says, hi, I've got a quick question. I have a giant 2017 full E and I've tried to do very steep climbs before on full power. I get halfway up till I get to a slow pace and the motor cuts out. Then you have no chance of getting up. Does this happen on all e-bikes? And did it happen to us on the slab?
No, I think it sounds to us like you've got a problem with the cadence on that e-bike. So it's quite a common thing we see.
Not problem on the bike, problem with him.
Problem with him, yeah. So quite a common thing we see as riders not actually changing gear correctly, being in the right gear, keeping that motor spinning, good cadence. It's quite easy just to change power modes, if you're struggling up a hill. So just make sure you're in that right gear. Obviously, if you're on an extreme climbing, like you've mentioned in your post, you need to be in that first gear. Keep those cranks spinning. Just keep, a lot of motors like that spinning.
Good idea. Send us a video of you doing this climb, and we'll be able to break it down and see what the problem is. Just send us a video, and be more than happy to help you up that bank, e-bike camperman man. Andy Rabholes, I love jumping my mountain bike, but love the look of the new e-bikes out there and want to get one. Can they still do big jumps, and can they take the abuse if you get it wrong?
Can they, Steve?
Do you know what? I am totally the wrong person to ask. However, I have got a mighty fine bike jumper sat very next to me.
Yeah, I think e-bike's more than capable on those big jumps, to be fair. They're a little bit different, but once you get used to it, you can definitely send those big jumps. There's a great video of me and Sam Pilgrim at Windhill Bike Park doing a versus. You can just show the sort of stuff you can do on them. I think in the air, they're a lot more stable than a regular bike. I, in fact, probably prefer to jump my e-bike now than a regular trail bike. I'm that way converted. So there you go.
Simple as that. Just be careful. Going on to the Crazy Gibbon. How far do you guys get out of one battery on your ride? Well, good question. Now, I've done a few epic trips recently. One in Scotland called Into the Wild, and also one recently in Italy. On the Scotland trip, I took a 700 watt hour Specialized bike, and we did the whole trip on one battery. In Italy, we did an insane amount of climbing, and I had a Shimano battery, which was 500 watt hours. It didn't quite make it. You could easily take another one because they're only like about that big. But how far? That's impossible to answer.
So many
that
different
question.
factors.
You're talking tyre choice, you're talking rider weight, you're talking what mode you're riding in, you're talking weather conditions, you're talking ground conditions. I can usually do about 3,000 foot of climbing and go out for a couple of hours.
Yeah, it's the average kind of thing. I mean, in the extremes, I think I can flatten my bike off in turbo within about an hour with a lot of climbing. But alternatively, I've done a video, which you can see down below. I did 100k on one battery, but that was really, really careful battery management. Switching it off and riding an eco as well. So it's really, it depends what you're doing in your fitness. As Steve said, there's so many different elements to it. But
the funny thing is, Chris, on that Italy trip, we left at about 10:30 in the morning, and we didn't get in till 6 o'clock at night. Just because, we tended to ride a lot in eco mode, you can have a big day out on an e-bike. It's a huge day out. So, it depends. Right, this is in from Chris Peacock. My dad wants to buy an e-bike to get out riding with me. I have a Canon Jekyll. Will I be able to keep up, or will my dad have to keep slowing down and waiting around for me?
I can vouch for this one. When I first got an e-bike, I actually went out with my dad. He's 62-year-old. He rode an e-bike. I rode my normal pedal bike. And no, I could not keep up with him. Even my dad's not as fit as me. I was way fitter than my dad. But even in an eco mode, I think it depends obviously on your fitness. But
depends on your dad as well.
I occasionally ride with like a World Cup cross-country rider guy, and he's sort of a similar sort of pace in eco. But obviously if I just turn it up, you'll just disappear. It totally depends on each of your fitness and your riding skills and everything. But I think if I was going to ride... You can ride. I've ridden with clubs and stuff on eco mode on a normal bike.
Well, I've ridden with like Rennie Wilderhaber, who's won the Mega Avalanche. He's been riding with the motor off. I've been riding in trail mode, and we ride together.
Yeah. So it's a good thing about them, isn't it?
It depends.
You can switch that assistance up and down as you need it. But I would get your both on an e-bike if you can enjoy it to the max, I think.
That's it. Thanks for your questions, folks. Some real bangers in there this week, particularly like that first one from Joseph,
really
who was
cool.
worried about, about buying an e-bike and how he'd be able to interact with his mates.
Yeah.
But it's a big question. It's a big question. We covered that on an EMBN show called Electrophobia, which we did a couple of weeks ago. So if you go back and check it out, because we got some feedback from people in the woods who've got the very concerns that you have.
Yeah.
In the meantime, lots of other non-question related videos on EMBN. There's High Level Adventure in Italy, which we did a few weeks ago. Check that out.
We should go to the Rock, where me and Steve probably did the most technical, scariest climb ever. Check that one out for sure.
Yeah.
Don't forget, if you've got any questions, drop us hashtag #AskEMBN in the comments box below. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the show, and we'll see you in the next one.